A Thanksgiving story that promises to warm your badass, entrepreneurial, world-building heart. We were sitting at the dinner table last night, as always, enjoying our family dinner. Krista, my daughter Emery, who's 10, and myself, and we were enjoying some family time together at 6 o'clock. And it's always go to town with the stories time. I love to tell stories. My wife Krista tells childhood stories, and my daughter Emery, because Krista and I are constantly sharing our wins and losses from our own childhood, my daughter has gradually become an excellent storyteller. She doesn't even know it, but she's got the skill now of telling incredible stories, which down the road will serve her as a teacher, as an influencer, as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, whatever she chooses to do. She'll be able to tell stories to get points across. So we were sitting at the dinner table last night, and my daughter is, she loves money and money loves her. That's the Kevin O'Leary Shark Tank quote that that Emery says every night before bed. She says, "I love money and money loves me." That is such an important mindset for a young person. It's wealth attraction at its core. I think that most people grow up with a poor scarcity mindset when it comes to money. You grow up hearing things like money doesn't grow on trees, or, there's a lack of money, or this costs this much, or that's expensive. When the people that attract and keep money are people that have a positive abundance relationship with money. It's one of the things that I teach in my mastermind programs, where I reset members' minds about money. I imagine that 99% of businessmen have a negative scarcity relationship with money. They have a lack mindset. So one of the things I do in my masterminds, and I'm going to be doing in my 2 masterminds coming up this December, next month, is getting their minds right. That that money is the root of all good. Entrepreneurship is the root of all good. Business is the root of all good. And when you respect money, when you appreciate money, when you welcome money, you'll attract more money. It's just simply that's a fact. It's not, it's not voodoo stuff. It's not woo-woo. There's a real principle to money attraction. So it's something that I've really tried to instill in my daughter Emery from a young age. Lemonade stands and any opportunity to get her in a sales situation I've used as a parent. And we're starting to see that it's working in terms of her having a positive relationship with money, attracting money into her world. So we're sitting at the dining room table yesterday, and she says to me, she goes, "Daddy, I made some more money today." And my daughter has 3 piggy banks up in her room. She's got 3 big plastic piggy banks, and they're full of money. She's now at $900+, which is a lot for a 10-year-old because she's earned every penny. So she's got these 3 piggy banks, and she's got over $900. And she had the money out the other day, and she rolled all the pennies, all the nickels, all the dimes, all the quarters. She put all the bills together, and that's what my father taught me at the kitchen table on Sundays. We would head off to church, and my dad wouldn't go to church. He would stay home, and he would roll his money, different strokes for different folks. And I remember that as a child. He'd have those brown paper things, and when we'd come home, like we'd leave for church, the entire kitchen table was covered in change. The entire kitchen table was covered in change. We would return an hour and a half later, and all it was all of these pennies, nickels, and dimes and quarters rolled into these tightly packed brown paper rolls. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And then on Monday, my dad would take all of that to the bank, deposit it or get it into bills, 5s, 10s, 20s, whatever. So that was my early relationship with with money. My dad just loving, rolling it, organizing it, and putting it in the bank. And consequently, he's been a man who has always attracted incredible good luck, incredible good fortune. He's always attracted wealth and abundance no matter what he's been involved with. His relationship with money. He loves money and money loves him. So when Thanksgiving Day rolls around in America, I think about how I'm so thankful that I was blessed with the entrepreneurial gene. I got it from my dad and my grandfather. I'm also incredibly grateful today that my daughter Emery has the dreamer's disease. She's showing early signs at age 10 of having an entrepreneurial itch to scratch. So I'm very, very grateful that there's potential there for her to choose her own life, build her own world, be involved in any business that she has passion and obsession for, and for her to basically live a life of autonomy and freedom and personal sovereignty. There is no life of personal sovereignty unless you're an entrepreneur. Who are you kidding? I don't care if you're a high-paid executive. I don't care if you make all kinds of money as a COO or an assistant to this or a professional service person. You're just a high-paid bootlicker. You're not a personal sovereignty badass. Like, I would prefer to be the guy that runs a general store and makes 50 grand like my grandfather and my father than be somebody working on Wall Street making $500,000, but you're owned by the man. You don't have freedom. You don't have autonomy. You don't have personal sovereignty. You're just what my grandfather called a high-paid bootlicker. So you're either a badass or you're not. But to be a badass, you have to be an entrepreneur. You can't be a badass and work for somebody else. You can't be a badass and have somebody else, depend on somebody else for your paycheck. To be a badass, you have to be an entrepreneur. You have to build your own world. And one of the biggest components of building your own world is building a business that supports the lifestyle of your dreams. In other words, you build a business that supports all of your dreams and goals. So you can't have personal sovereignty if you're punching a clock for somebody else. You can't have personal sovereignty if you're trading time for dollars. I don't care how hard I have to work, whether I got to work 20-hour days or 18-hour days or 14-hour days and whatever it is, long as it's personal sovereignty, that's all that matters to me. So you can't live a badass world building lifestyle unless you're an entrepreneur. And that's the message I keep telling my 10-year-old daughter. So yesterday at dinner, she says, Daddy, I made some more money today. And I've been talking about how she's been attracting money the last 2 weeks. Literally, money has been flowing into her life over the last 2 weeks. And if you looked at it logically, you'd say, where the hell is all this money coming from? She got $20 in the mail yesterday from the agricultural fair for winning a first place poster contest that just arrived. We knew that she had won in August, but it arrived in the mail yesterday. And I cashed the check for her. She signed it, a real check, and I cashed it for her right there. And she ran upstairs and put the $20 in her piggy bank, and she's like, $962 now. She got some money for her birthday from Grandma and Grandpa. She cashed that check. She bought herself a little present, but then she invested the rest of the money into the bank. So money has been flowing into her world. And yesterday at the dinner table, she goes, yeah, Daddy, I made some more money. I made $19 yesterday. And I was like, great, you made $19 at school. That's amazing. And she goes on to tell me this crazy, crazy story. She says, I sold my mood ring. And I said, you sold your mood ring? I said, you love that mood ring. She bought a little mood ring she wears for $4. And that's what she spent her birthday money on. She bought a mood ring from Grandma and Grandpa's money. And then she put the rest of it into the bank. So she's been wearing this mood ring to school. She goes, I sold it to my friend Brooke. And these kids, they're like 8, 9, 10 years old. She said, I sold it to Brooke for $14. And I said, you sold your mood ring to Brooke for $14? She's like, yeah. Plus, she said, she had to give me her mood ring. This is a big thing with little girls right now, is the mood rings, right? So I said, okay, so you sold your mood ring that cost you $4 for $14, plus you insisted that she trade in her mood ring to you as part of the exchange. And I said, is her mood ring the same? She goes, it's better. I like it better. So I said, okay, so now you have a mood ring that you prefer. You have $14. They actually paid. I said, how in the world do kids have cash at school? She said she brought the money to school because we talked about it the day before. So this is a done deal, right? Like I was like, okay, maybe they're just playing or pretending. Oh, no, done deal. She goes, plus there's more. It was like an infomercial listening to this story. But wait, there's more. So she says, not only did I get her mood ring plus $14 cash, she paid me another $4 to take care of it for the rest of the day. In other words, she didn't want me to crack it. She didn't want me to damage it, her existing mood ring. So she paid me $4 to keep it safe till the end of the day when I would give the mood ring to her and she'd take it home. So I'm like, okay, so 14 plus 4, you're now at $18 cash. And at the end of the day, you exchange mood rings. She goes, that's right. So now I have $18 to put in my bank account, in my piggy bank. Plus I have a mood ring that I like even more. And it was crazy, the different reactions, because my wife, Krista, she's like very good friends with Emery's school teacher. And she contacted the school this morning and she said, you know, we had to correct the situation, for a better word, and just to make sure, like, I mean, that's not a deal that should have been made, and these are young children. But it was interesting because I'm sitting there like as a proud entrepreneur father. Like Krista's like, you know, you shouldn't take advantage of her like that, and she doesn't know, and she's naive, and I'm sitting there, and Emery's looking across the table at me, and she knows that I'm like proud as hell. I'm like, wow, that was a killer deal. It wasn't exactly win-win. And they both went away happy. So I'm like, okay. So yes, as parents, we did correct that problem this morning and returned the ring and returned the money. But I'm sitting there going, and when I talked to Emery this morning, when I drove her to school, I said, that was a hell of a negotiation. And she goes to me, she goes, Daddy, she goes, I said, how did you work that? She goes, like you taught me, asking questions. And I said, what do you mean by that? And she goes, well, you taught me how to negotiate and win any argument. And I said, yeah, and how do you do that? She said, asking question after question after question. That goes back to courthouse negotiation and winning, the great undefeated trial lawyer Jerry Spence, where he said, his book, How to Win Any Argument, was just about questions, not what you say. It's just constantly questioning. So questioning the person in the witness box. And that's how he's gone undefeated in his entire career. But it's the same for any sales message or any argument, just questioning and asking questions. So she did this pitch to her friend for the ring by just asking questions. Wouldn't you rather have this ring? Wouldn't you rather? How much would you pay for this? And I was like so impressed. So I want to share that story. I'm thankful as a father. I'm thankful that my daughter has the dreamer's disease. I'm thankful that she has the entrepreneurial bug. I'm grateful that she has passion and obsession. And now it's up to her to do something with it. Like the great Warren Buffett said, we can't start our children soon enough. If you have children, young children, or you have young grandchildren, the time to teach them to sell, the skills of salesmanship, you can't start soon enough. I'm talking age 5. I'm talking age 6. You don't wait till your kids are 16 or 17 or 18 to teach them any skill. Like, Emery learned to skate when she was 2.5. She learned to throw a fastball when she was 4. She learned to hit a tennis ball when she was 5. And that's even late. So we need to start our children and our grandchildren selling, or at least appreciating the skill of selling at a young age. Like when she says, I want to have a lemonade stand every second week in the summer, I'm like, yes, let's go. Because I want to fuel that fire with gasoline. And that's where I think a lot of men and husbands and fathers drop the ball, where they're like, oh, well, that seems like a lot of work. Whenever your children or grandchildren show a spark of entrepreneurship, for God's sakes, pour fuel on it. Pour gasoline on it. Get out there and make the lemonade. Get out there and help them make the signs. Help them knock on the doors. Don't do it for them, but help them. Because there's no greater freedom than your son or daughter, or your grandson or your granddaughter, becoming an entrepreneur. Like, you're chasing personal sovereignty, and you're doing it as a businessman and as an entrepreneur. Well, guess what? If they learn, salesmanship, and they learn how to market, they learn how to sell things, they learn that money can be attracted. I mean, that's better than anything you can do in terms of, a college education or a university education or any of that other stuff. If your child or grandchild can learn to sell, if they can learn to have a abundance mindset with money, if they can learn to market and advertise, you've just granted them freedom, control, you've granted them independence, autonomy. You've literally given them personal sovereignty 101. And like my daughter, it's up to her now to develop her skill set over the next 10 years. She can have all the passion and obsession she wants in the world to be an entrepreneur, but she has to do what I've done. She has to read 2,000 books on copywriting, marketing, advertising, selling, and that's up to her. But I'm going to support her in any way when it comes in these early years to having that abundance mindset, that entrepreneurial mindset, that good relationship with money. Very, very important. So on Thanksgiving Day, that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that I get to help my daughter with lemonade stands. I get to help her with garage sales. She's talking now about she wants to go around to different garage sales and buy items that people are selling that nobody knows that they're worth so much, right? They're worth a lot more. It could be trading cards, baseball cards, hockey cards, mugs. Like, she has a pretty good idea of what she thinks she can buy for peanuts and sell online. So even though we don't do the screens in our home at all, I'm all for helping her put together a small online business to sell trading cards, to sell hockey cards, baseball cards, to sell comics. She's got all these comics that used to be mine, the Archie comics, the Superman comics, the Batman comics, and they're all in great condition. And she's interested in how much she can sell these things for. So as an entrepreneurial father, I'm going to support her in any way I can in helping her sell these things. She buys something for 50 cents and turns around and sells it for $14. And then I'm thinking of taking a little bit of her savings, if she approves, and investing it in Bitcoin or in something like gold, where we just set it and we forget it for the next 5 or 10 years. It has to be a certain amount of money that she can afford to lose. The rest of it is in secure savings. But taking, $100 or $500 and introducing her to investments like gold and silver, and taking more of a Hail Mary with Bitcoin, and just forgetting about it for 10 years and seeing what that $100 or that $500 can turn into, that long-term mentality. So these are the things that I'm enjoying doing with her. My passion and obsession is contagious, and her passion and obsession is contagious. But I thought I would share that Thanksgiving story about the deal she made on the playground yesterday, and how interesting it is when we introduce our children to the right. We introduce them to salesmanship, to marketing, to having a positive abundance mindset. What amazing things can happen. So I wish you and your family an amazing Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday in Canada and the United States. I think every day should be Thanksgiving. You hear a lot of this nonsense today from experts and gurus about, gratitude and all this stuff. And the reason they're pitching all that stuff is because we've lost our way with gratitude. I'm a proud Canadian, but I love America. And I wear that on my sleeve. I think the two greatest countries in the world are the United States and Canada. I don't think it's even close. And I choose to live in both places. But I get the question quite a bit about, why do I love America so much? And I always reply to my clients, what's not to love? We live in Canada on the lake, in our lake house through the summer months here. And then after Christmas, I get the opportunity to move to what I call, heaven on earth, which is our home in Naples, Florida. So I have the best of both worlds, but I have the best of both countries. And I love almost everything about America. I love the spirit. I love the entrepreneurship. I love how winners win. I love how, you're encouraged to build things, to grow things, to hire people, to create things out of thin air. I love the win. I love the winning championship mentality. And you can get wrapped up in so much of this stuff where you're like, well, anti this, or there's, the crowd that is anti-American. But what I do is I remind myself that's 1% of 1%. What you're hearing in the news, or what you're seeing online, or the noise. The noise is created by the 1% of 1%. Those self-loathing tomato cans don't represent Canada or the United States. They don't. You as an entrepreneur, as a husband, as a father, as a creator, you're the people that we're thankful for. You're the man in the arena. You're the man that's paying taxes and raising families and raising children and fundraising and helping in your community. You're the man in the arena that makes the difference, not these self-loathing, punch-drunk tomato cans. And you don't have the time to go around and work on your virtues and your wokeness and all this other nonsense. You're too busy raising a family, building things, creating things, and building the world of your dreams. So a tip of my hat to all of my clients, my prospects, people that watch, men that watch these videos and read my newsletter, and my mastermind members, and my newsletter, Brotherhood. I'm extremely grateful. But man, oh man, I love America. I love being there. I love being in Florida. I love that state. I love it's an up level for me after Christmas, like my mentality. Like I leave winter here and I arrive there in 3 hours, and it's just like I've got a shot of adrenaline like never before being in Naples. And it's amazing. We enjoyed our time there so much that we bought a home, but we find the people so incredibly friendly, so incredibly generous. We feel secure there. It's a wonderful place for our daughter to go to school. She has great teachers. She has great coaches. We've made some friends in Naples, and I just love America, and I'm so blessed that we're welcome there, that we can hop on a plane and we can stay there for 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, whatever, and then return into the summer to, the other country that we call home. So the best of both worlds. So that's it for today. It's Thanksgiving Day. Make sure that you hug your children. You tell them how proud you are of them, how much they mean to you, and that the door is always open. They need to be able to come to you with anything and everything without judgment. and then you go from there. But don't ever close the door on your children. Don't ever close the door on your marriage. Keep that crack open. Keep inviting them to do things with you. Keep on inviting, whether they do it or not, doesn't matter. Keep inviting your children to do things with you. Go for a walk, go to a movie, go to a sporting event, go whatever it is, just keep inviting, and eventually that door will crack open. And same with your best friend's secret weapon wife. Just keep inviting her, date your wife, do kind things for her. I'm in the habit now of, when the cold weather's here, as I start Krista's car when I walk by in the morning after my walk. It's such a simple thing, but every day she thanks me for that. She gets in her vehicle and goes to the gym, and she's like, thank you for starting my car. It's the little things all the time that matter. And treat your children and treat your grandchildren and treat your queen like absolute gold. That every day is Thanksgiving when it comes to family. The only legacy that matters is the legacy of our family and the people that we serve. That's the thing that's going to be remembered. That's the thing that people are going to talk about, is who you served and what kind of a father were you? What kind of a husband were you? What kind of a leader were you? So make sure every day is Thanksgiving. Take 2 or 3 minutes and be thankful for all the amazing blessings. Health is number one. Wealth is up there. Freedom, personal autonomy, personal sovereignty, all the greatness of these great countries. So that's it for today. If you're interested, there's still a couple days to sign up for my mastermind World Build. So it's badassworldbuilders.com, badassworldbuilders.com. Fill out the application. I'll take a look at it. I'll decide if you're in or out. I'll decide whether I'm the coach or not, and I'll get back to you within 7 days. That's badassworldbuilders.com. That's it. A very happy and healthy Thanksgiving on behalf of Krista, Emery, and myself. And remember, 2 words that'll change your life, 2 words that changed my life. Be relentless.